All right, mesdames et messieurs, ladies and gentlemen, we're just about ready to start Scrubcasual's run, Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls on PC. Any percent New Game Plus, which, if you've been watching the past couple of seconds, you could see a chicken run happening. So this is the movie Chicken Run by Blizzard. So grab some popcorn. It's fun for the whole family. And without further ado, I'm giving it up to Scrubcasual.
All right, thank you. So time is going to be actually on the first action, so I'm going to load in here just to get it ready. All right. Kind of make sure. All right. So I'm going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. So this is Diablo 3, what I like to call the kamikaze chicken run. And you just keep that going. Everything I do is amazing in this run, so we're good. Yeah, pretty much what you're going to be seeing a lot of, aside from a few very short areas, is going to be just me in chicken form. And it's probably one of my favorite runs to do because it just looks so ridiculous. And you do a lot of damage as a chicken. Alright, so I'm going to try to talk about some of the... I cannot talk and play this game at the same time. Some of the things that you do to just save time here and there. Well, it's pretty easy now. First and foremost, I think what's important to talk about is the speed cap that I'm already out of it right now. Speed cap is 25% with all of the weapons and armor that you can get, but there are skills that actually supersede that, which is why normally I'll be stuck at 25% speed, and I'm able to go above that with the chicken, which doubles speed, the let me get in here quick. Oh my goodness. The soul harvest, which for each enemy harvested gives you speed, movement speed. The horrify, which gives you movement speed, and oh my goodness, the spirit vessel, which gives you movement speed until you run into an enemy, and then you get slowed down. So you'll see me possibly blowing up my chicken sooner than it's supposed to go off because I want to reset my skills as often as I can to get the maximum amount of speed. So going into here, this is a somewhat RNG dungeon area where, oh my goodness, if you can tell, I have no idea where I'm going. The, what am I doing here? I'm just gonna get to the head cleave and then we'll go from there. All right, cool. So first area you can soft lock right here. I did it once. It's very hard to soft lock actually, but if you kill these 4 enemies before the cutscene, the game soft locks and you have to start back at the beginning. So luckily that did not happen. It's very easy to not mess up, I guess. So in the normal game, you usually have to follow Decker Kane all the way back to the waypoint, but because it's a New Game Plus, you can just teleport right on out of there. Head up here to Hadrid. Probably the second saddest story of the whole game is Hadrid and his wife. It lasts about 10 seconds here, and then that's all you're going to see of him, really, for the whole game. Boom, just do a lot of this and that, and things kind of explode. I don't really know what I'm doing. Let's just get through this. All right, so what you don't see me doing in-game, but I'm actively mashing my 3 key to kind of skip through, where are we going here? Skip through dialogue boxes, because there are some dialogue boxes that don't actually pop up and let you just escape out of. You have to actually, there's a, in the menus you can select a key to skip dialogue, and you kind of have to mash that for about half of the dialogues in this, and it maybe saves a minute total through the whole game. But donation anytime, man. Oh, this is it. Okay.
Well, in that case, hold on.
Okay, this one.
We have received a $40 donation from Dimitricus, and he's saying, merci de donner pour une bonne cause. Ben, merci à toi de donner pour une bonne cause, dude. Merci. C'est vraiment apprécié. Yeah!
Yeah! If it isn't obvious, I don't speak French, but I'm assuming that was good. All right, so first troll part of the whole speed run is these 3 tombs. One of the tombs is the turret tomb. You have to find it by pretty much getting to the end as quickly as you can. And I chose the wrong tomb twice. So here we are, level 2. Just skip by that boss there. And we're here to get the crown for Leoric, because we need to summon Leoric to continue on with our quest. And get it, TP out of here. This is where you normally get teleport in the vanilla game, but we've had it the whole time already. And let's do this. So normally the game wants you to wait for Deckard Cain here, but realistically you can just come down here and skip him and just wait for the door to unlock. That's another, 2-second time save, which really matters in an hour-long run. All right, so this section is really just a little bit of RNG. Usually the, I shouldn't say usually, the exit is always on the top right of the map for this and Cathedral 3. For Cathedral 3, typically the game wants you to go save the Templar and do all that, but you can really just skip right to that chest, and that skips the whole scene of you having to stop him from being held. So this is one of the examples of me mashing the skip dialogue box, because normally you'd have to wait for the Templar to talk probably for about 5 seconds, another 5 seconds here, and then another 5-10 seconds at these stairs. So because of that, we just skip right over it. This next area is a static RNG section where it is a static 3x3 area, and the exit is outside of the 3x3. So I know for a fact that it's not going to be this way. All right. The 8 around the outside are not going to lead anywhere, so you have to find the exit from there. I'm trying to keep up with this, but it just goes too fast. Alright, cool. Alright, so I got a couple seconds here. So, what I want to mention now, I guess, while I still can kind of think about what I'm doing, I really want to give a shout out ahead of time to Gartham, Puke Attack, and Viper, who are all very active people in our community right now. Gartham started this pretty much a year ago when I was starting this as well. There we go. And he has done a lot just for the new game category. There we go. No, I still need to talk to you. No, I don't. All right. And then Puke Attack and Viper have done a lot for the New Game Plus categories. Viper currently holds all of the New Game Plus world records for every category and every character.
Not ready yet.
I know it's not. I'm going to the wrong place. I'm already ahead of myself. And then Gartham holds all the world records for the new game category. And they're actually really sick and disgusting to beat, and I just have given up on new game because of that. But new game plus is definitely, what was that? It's not Khazra. So this section, there are 7 random spawns that can have different sections to it, but the Khazra den can only spawn in 4 of them. And I'm trying to find which one it is. And I already messed up the map, so we'll just kind of run around. Let's go here. Ah, okay. Of course it's the first one. Cool. Of course there's one left. So the cool thing about, the cool thing that I really like about running the Diablo New Game, which obviously this is New Game Plus, but New Game, you can essentially run any of the character classes, and it will not differ too much in the actual gameplay. Your character build will differ, but you're still doing the same micromanaging that you would otherwise, and this is what I wanted to do. This is still not what I want to do. I lied. I'm trying to jump ahead like 4 parts to the story. But with New Game Plus, I guess the fun thing about New Game Plus is that you kind of get to play the most OP builds and just go really, really fast. And this is probably my favorite one to do because my computer is really terrible, so it can kind of handle this. But if you want to really see something cool, you should watch Demon Hunter or Monk, which is just non-stop teleporting or dashing. And if your computer can handle it, I'm already skipping ahead too. If your computer can handle it, it's super fun. There we go.
Must be allergic to garden.
Bam. Bleeding, alright. So I have an item on actually, which you should have for most classes, that my gloves increase my shrine, so like that shrine right there normally would last a few minutes, and now it will last 10 minutes, and because it's a fleeting shrine, that also increases my maximum movement speed past that 25%. It's actually going to be quicker to TP back out of here than it is to run all the way back. Only a few seconds, but you get what you can, I guess.
Why?
Alright. Come on. Cool.
Look at this architecture. This creates a
Alright, and then we're moving on. Right now we are supposed to be gaining 3 shards of a broken sword to find a fallen angel, essentially, and help him remember his past. So this is the second piece right now, and after that, there's one more, right? Let's TP out of here. Cool. So after that, we're going to go where I've been trying to go twice now, and get the last piece of the sword.
I need to go. I will take it. They're destroying it.
Sugar.
Please, my family's hiding.
So this section right here has 3 phases. You kill all the minions. This person spawns right to the left here. After you kill them, it spawns a, I guess, a mini boss. Just 3 fit guys right here. And you take them out. You just talk to the priest here, and you go find the last piece of the sword.
It is not here.
And lo and behold, it was a trick all along. Oh no. Oh yeah, I can't do this. There we go.
Must get back to friend's house.
For some reason, the game doesn't let you do certain things as a chicken, and I've never understood it, but it always throws me off, because you can do everything else as a chicken. Get out of here. So this next section coming up, the spider den, is pretty much very static, except for the exits. So this first part either goes northeast or southwest. It cannot go southeast at all. So that's the first section. Then it leads into a 2x2 section, which always exits to the top left or bottom right. That's not what I'm doing. So top left 1 is nothing, so we're down here. Check top left 2. And this is it. So this leads into the third section, which always goes northeast to the boss.
My mistress has accepted this land is
And get the queen here. Oh my god, I didn't one cycle the queen. That's actually terrible. That just, we're gonna pretend that didn't happen, and I'm just gonna hang my head in shame. I don't even know how that hit her. Oh, Lord. Alright. I don't know if anyone from the D3 community is watching, but I'm sure they are saying a lot of things right now. So this area you can actually just run without having to talk to the NPC here, but by talking to her, it actually lights up the next area that you need to go to, which for the 2-second loss that you get from that, you can save potentially, 15 seconds. So since I'm not going for world record, I'm going to do that. So one thing I try to do, which is easier in some areas when there's a lot of mobs, is I want to actually explode the chicken in a large mob, because what I have on is called a ring called the Obsidian Ring, which for every enemy within a certain area that you, or for every skill you use, lowers cooldown. And then I have a passive skill on that lowers my cooldowns for every enemy within a certain area, a certain range of me. So if I blow up, 15 enemies in a mob, even like 5 to 15, depending on how recent it is, it resets all my skills so I can just spam the speed. So this section for the first area usually will lead straight southeast, southwest. I'm looking for what we like to call the cleaver, cleaver lane, cleaver alley, whatever. It's just a pretty much a long section with cleavers. The probability of it leading south, I cannot do this. The directions southwest is 75%, so typically you try to go that way to save time.
Needs more time.
So the jail cell that I'm coming up to is also a static giant square, but the RNG comes from the 6 prisoners that you have to essentially, spirits you have to save. So those can be anywhere in here, and the layout inside the giant square is RNG based. And it can be pretty unforgiving at times, where you have to go through 3 layers to get to someone, or we can have a nice setup like this where it's just rows, and this is actually golden right now, so it's 4 on the same side. There's that frenzied. So there's 2 more down here, 1 more over here. I didn't get you. There we go. Alright. So after you get the 3 of these, you're trying to get the jailer to essentially come up from the depths and punish you for whatever you're doing. I don't know. For being too fast. There we are. Alright. So we are on our way to the Butcher, which is going to be the final boss of the first act. And this section as well, the final section is always leading northeast into the Butcher. I thought that was leading. But how you get to that final section is somewhat RNG. So typically you try to go in a direction that will lead you quickly to the northeast, but it doesn't always work out that way. And this is going to be it. All right. Last thing I forgot to mention about the speed. So I did mention the skills that I'm using, but I did not mention why I have the pets out is actually I have a passive that increases my speed if I have pets out as well. So my dogs give me a 15% speed boost for this too. And that's the end of Act 1. What are we at? 17. It's not terrible.
Here we are. I am.
This gate leads to our cars.
So that's the Enchantress. You don't need to... Is that the Enchantress? Not the Enchantress. That's one of your followers. And there we go. You don't actually have to talk to them. They're not cool enough for you to want to do that, but they just decide to follow you anyway. Almost out, man. Cool. Oh, there's the Enchantress. I know this lore like the back of my hand, if you can tell. I've only been playing this since day 1. So right now there are 2 rituals happening. We need to find them. There's potentially 3 spots each one can be in. So it's somewhat RNG, but pretty static and easy to find. But on my PB attempt, it actually was in the last spot for all of them. So we'll see how that goes. And this is my favorite. Thank you.
They are casting part of the illusion.
The ritual is disrupted.
Tell me, what shall you do when Magda is dead?
Needs more time.
I think it is time for you to know. I
That's not what I want. I need a mob. Thank you. The amount of times I run by people trying to click on them when I'm in chicken form is really annoying. I have no control, and I'm actually used to it lagging, so with it being this smooth, it messes me up more than I expected it would. Alright. So, shock, surprise, everyone's a snake. Scary. Alright, let's get this done, and move on. I wasn't fooled for a second.
I can hear the spirit's anguish. Arcanus cannot be far.
Something to work with here. There we go. So this whole section until the next boss is very static, no RNG at all. They want you to save prisoners here, but you're on a mission, you can't stop for anything, so. And we'll TP out of here. So now we're on our way to go talk to the prince. I'm sure nothing will go wrong.
Not ready yet.
Alright.
Let's go.
Oh my goodness, I've been doing this without my dogs. I knew I felt slow. There we go. Gotta go fast. Alright. So we are now looking for Leah's mother, who has been, or we've been told, oh my gosh, I want to get that so bad. Never mind, that was a Scorn. I don't care anymore. Who we've been told has been taken away against her will, so here she is. Family reunion after, what, Leah's like 18? After a long time, never seen her mother. So this next section is extremely RNG heavy. The sewer section is not static at all, and it's probably one of my least favorite sections because I always choose the wrong way 5 times in one run. And there's one. Alright, that was pretty quick. So the Oasis has, we're looking to get into the Forgotten Ruins. We're looking for Zoltan Pool. And there are, I think, 6 or 7 places it can spawn in. So the map is static, but we still need to pretty much search the whole map for it. Luckily, it was in the second location, so that is pretty good time save. What do we got? This is another very RNG heavy area. Pretty much all of At 2 and At 5 are really RNG. There's not too much you can do about it. No, we gotta go town. So because the waypoint wasn't in the first 2 spots, I'm actually going to TP back to town, and after talking to them, take the waypoint because it's going to be farther along in Daldar Oasis compared to TPing back into Daldar Oasis and then coming back here. Goodness. Thank you.
And we should bring Fool's Head with us. Maybe he'll have something useful to say. I'll put
Okay,
him in the
it's
bag.
actually pretty good. It's literally right here. That was perfect.
This cannot be opened yet.
So we're going into more sewers here, trying to find our way to the ancient ruins so that we can resurrect Zoltan Pool.
The one you're calling
And then that's just a big old circle.
in the air.
Oh, beautiful. I love when they mark the map for me.
Not ready yet.
That's one lever down.
Not ready yet. We must stop him. That's, yep, I should have known that.
Belial must really want
Hey, first try. Alright, so here we have the comic relief of the game. But the game's not even really serious to start with, so I don't really, you know, Blizzard did a good job with that, I guess. Alright, so we're off to find Shen's partner who tricked him, and he had no idea why, but took the jewel they found and went off to do some evil doing, so we're going to go retrieve it for him and be good Samaritans. There we go. So this is another somewhat static map where the exit's always in the northeast, or leading northeast, so it's kind of easy to find the exit.
But those others, the fallen angel, the witch.
So here's another map. This, the large part of the map is static, but there are multiple spawns that the two locations can spawn in. So I kind of do just a swivel technique. You cover all the area best you can. I do know when you get really good at this, like people who hold all the world records, you can pretty much know exactly where everything's going to be.
Then I'll show you what a Nephilim.
Oh gosh, it's always there. Of course not. Alright, here's one. Just random chicken sounds now and again. Really? Oh my gosh. Please. Blow everything up.
Needs more time.
I'm gonna clear this. Oh, this happened actually on my last PB as well. I don't move far enough right to check that area, so I always end up missing it. Please get up here. This is gonna loop around. Oh sugar. Oh, thank you. That was pretty generous. Don't explode. Alright, so now we need to go up to start to resurrect Zoltan Cool with his archives by finding his body.
Find my body and the Black Soul Stone.
Oh, thank you, Zoltan Cool, for saying that.
I had to build all of
There we
this
go.
for my research.
So the two telltale signs that you're kind of looking for in this section is that first bridge is a start, and you want to look for another bridge that is essentially just like it, which tells you you're going in the right direction. I don't want to be down here. That's now. Oh. There we go.
Whatever else he may be, he is the aspect of justice.
Really?
There is no justice in murder.
Alright, here we go. So here's the second bridge. So this leads to the exit that we need to get to.
I could have helped all men become Nephilim and ushered in a golden age.
There we go.
But my
And then the same thing here is we have the two bridges that tell you you're going in the right direction, which, of course, is the last direction. So here's the first one. And the second one. Almost went too fast, sorry.
Rodrum did all this to lock my body away. They must have been very angry with me.
Are you surprised? They betray a night.
They would never reimagine it.
Alright, so this is the area I want to be. I just need to find the last part of his body. Cool. Alright, Alright, now we get to go fight something cool. Because, surprise, surprise, he's actually a bad guy who is pretending to help us just so he can get revived. What a plot twist. That was easy. So now, the sky is raining blood, and everyone's just kind of cowering in fear, so it's our job to save all the townspeople. Or village people. I don't really know what this is considered.
I never believed it would end like this.
Watch out.
And I got trolled. Is there one left? Like, please. Oh, goodness. Alright, here they are, of course. That was rough. Oh man. No time, I just lost time. I don't know what you're talking about. I like to talk to this game as if they're talking to me because I actually have no friends and this is my life. It's a good use of my time. Alright, let's go. And shocker number 2, the prince was actually Belial. Who would have seen that coming? I don't know, I made fun of this game a lot, but this is by far one of my favorite games of 2010, or 2010s.
I need to go back.
And this is the end of Act 2.
I can be ready to leave at a moment's notice.
That's not fun.
The black soulstone's getting hotter.
You heard the angel's command.
Alright, so soft lock potential number 2 is coming up in the next area with catapults. We'll get there in a minute, but pretty much what's going to happen is I'm going to take the risk and try to hopefully not soft lock, but there are 3 catapults that you have to have people lift up pretty much with levers, and you have to get to the 3rd one because you have to manually help raise the 3rd catapult. What that means is that there are enemies attacking the people at the first 2 levers, and if you drag enemies into the 2nd one and then continue onward, oh please, they can actually soft lock by killing the 3 people that are raising it, and you can't do anything about it, so you have to restart the act. Typically, for this, I probably should sit and make sure that they live through it, but you know, YOLO? Is that still cool?
What now?
I didn't. I'm so bad at remembering to get my dogs out.
If you need to be told which end of the sword goes where, you haven't been paying attention.
God, what a beautiful line. Alright, so this is just essentially an auto stroller. We're waiting for this bridge to raise up here so we can go across it, but we have to wait for all these waves of enemies to go through here.
The lift is moving again.
There we go. I'm gonna try to get all 5 of these with my soul harvest so it can get extra speed. Oh, another legendary. Sad days. Alright, so this is the first catapult. This one actually, for being the first one, finishes last, so I'm gonna blow them up anyway. The second one here, I don't think I dragged anyone in. You're good. You're good, right? I hope you're good. And then for this third one, you have to manually raise. There's a little area right here if I can get where I can just stand here and not move, but it's not being cooperative with me. Oh man, that is it. There we go. All right. Oh. All right. I'm really thirsty. So there is a force stop option. Is there one more? Where you can stop yourself from moving when you click, but when you do that, you actually use the attack on your left click. So, no, please tell me. Oh, okay, it didn't stop. That was actually, I was worried there for a second. All right, so I'm gonna go back to this last one. Just help make sure no one's attacking these poor people. I was actually really worried that I just soft locked in there. So the next area I'm leading into is the depths, which is 3 sections and pretty heavy RNG based, but this should be good. All right. All of the exits are in similar directions. So the second one usually exits to the top left. The third one always exits to the top right. And there's a specific area you look for in this first one that tells you you're going in the right direction. And that's obviously a wall. Why did I do that? I promise I know what I'm doing. Oh, jeez. Hey, right here, baby. That's what I'm talking about. That was actually a beautiful depths one. So depths 2, I try to stay as close to the top left as I can, just because since it normally exits to the top left, my hope is that the seed will be nice and just generate a good exit for me. And you can typically tell you're in the right section because you get to this outdoor area right there. And now the last one, I go to the top right as well because the exit always goes northeast, so this is it. Well, that was a really good depths. I'm blessed right now with everything else that's been going on. And, oh, that didn't one shot. I have to go protect Leah because, I don't know, she's trying to do something. This story doesn't really make sense. It's all, you know, whatever Blizzard wanted. There's like creatures from Kingdom Hearts in here trying to attack her. I don't know what's going on. Alright, so this whole section leading up to, I did not need to talk to him, leading up to the next boss, is static map, so everything is in the same place, except the section I get to here, I have to actually, please, oh, I'm not in changing form, alright. There are 3 catapults I have to blow up, which spawn in multiple of 6 different areas, and twice now I've come over here, and I never went far enough out here, so I'm making double sure that's not there. Alright. So that's 1. We have this here. This is always in the middle. There'll probably be one down here. Or they're both in the north, alright. There we go. And now this next area is all static too, so it's just me making sure I don't lose track of myself. what I like to call the Blizzard hype beast, because this was this is one of the saddest moments I had when I played this game vanilla, because the Siegebreaker was the most awesome boss in the demo that they showed, the first demo they ever showed of this game. Had him ripping people apart and everything, and then you fight him in this game and it's just the most unsatisfying experience from what I wanted. I'd never trust anything from Blizzard ever again. I don't like that. So the exit from here is always in the northeast, but getting to it isn't always a straight shot, so that was a pretty lucky run for me.
These poor
Jeez.
live in eternal
That was a pretty quick Tower 1. There we go.
My daughters, I see. Are you enjoying their company? Oh, pain, suffering your
Gosh, so many legendaries this run. I usually see like one random legendary drop and it still feels kind of bad, but alright. So this is a static fight. I keep saying static. This happens every time in the same section. This whole floor is just the same thing every time, so it's pretty straightforward. But you take out half her health and then you work your way down. You have to fight her again about 2 floors down. And this is another section where the exit is in the northeast, but getting there isn't always a straight shot. And I've actually lost, 2 minutes, I think, on my Crusader New Game Plus because I took the wrong course and took me a minute out and a minute back, because this can get really expansive. I'm already, nope, that's a dead end. That's it. That's gotta be it. There we go. So you know you're in the right way when you get the hologram show up there telling you to, stop doing what you're doing. You're being mean. Oh my goodness, what is this luck?
The chains tear at their flesh.
All I know is I just dropped like 4 ancient items and it's gonna haunt me in my sleep tonight.
Close now. I can almost.
So this is the last section before I go to fight Spider Lady number 1 and get her out of here, which should be, hopefully as long as I do the shit explosion right, should be a one-shot. There we go. And then same with Asmodan after. Asmodan is just literally right after. That's, and I missed it. Oh well. So we just gotta wait for the store to open. Cool. Oh, I kept the speed, that's great. So I have to wait for this beautiful death animation. Can't do anything, can't speed it up. Not really sure what that was, but it was. Alright. So, spoiler alert, Leah's gone, we don't know what happened, we come up here and I can't do this as a chicken. Every run I do that. Leah is actually Diablo, and that's the end of Act 4. Act 3. No, you know what? Give me the dogs. There we go. So this is another area where you could waste pretty much 30 seconds just letting them talk, but you get to mash that, stop talking button, and it just makes it about 3 seconds. And actually, we found a new soft lock here, which I hope doesn't happen. Don't really know why it happens, but if you hit him at the right pixel as he starts to disappear, he just stays there. Stays floating in the air, and there's nothing you do about it. You just have to leave and come back. So that happened on my first run back after taking a break from this game, and it was a great reminder of why I stopped a while ago. This is the way I want to go. So Act 4 is actually pretty quick, and it was one of my favorite acts when I was doing this. Still probably is, just because of how straightforward it is. There's not much RNG to it, So it's really just all about execution and knowing where you're going. But then the DLC came out, and Act 5 is pretty much the epitome of RNG in all of the runs, so it's a good balance, I guess. So now we get to run around as a chicken, just kind of running in fleas, looking for a rift to health, essentially, where we have to... Oh my gosh. Please. There we go. Alright, so that's the exit after I get this one. It's probably right here. Yeah. And there's one we saved one angel. And we're on our way to go save the next. So for anyone who has played any of the Diablo games casually, this is the first game that they really reference the word Nephilim, which for anyone who doesn't know what that is, Nephilim is essentially a human who is in between a god or has the powers of a god but is not of godly ascent, essentially. So it's someone who just one day decides, hey, I can, you know, shoot fireballs, and then that's not it. So this is where all the characters that you play as are essentially are Nephilim, and it never really is referenced much in the first two games, but in a book series that actually talks about the lore leading up to the first game is where they really talk about what a Nephilim is and how you become one. Gosh, I missed one. Right here on the left. Goodness, really? Oh wait, was that? Where did I miss one? Please. Oh my goodness.
The spirits aid me.
Really? Really? Oh, that was great. That was a good minute loss. Well, now we just run all the way back to where I just was. That's where the exit was.
Soon there will be nothing left of these high heavens. All create.
Oh, goodness. Kill off that guy and wait for Tyrael. Stop fighting stuff. There we go. Alright. Next section. So if anything, this is probably the most RNG heavy section, but it's pretty easy to navigate, so it's not too terrible for a speedrun sense.
Diablo is climbing the spire to the crystal arch. We must hurry.
Let your spirit be free.
Of course. Beautiful. I love those way markers. Oh gosh. On my last PB I did, I actually got frozen there, and that's just such a waste of time if you don't get the one shot in there. The computer did not freeze, but the enemy has a move that can freeze your movement. I should clarify that. Gold, fine, great. I definitely need more gold. Alright, and this is the Diablo fight. So another, I guess, little tidbit of information. Diablo looks different in all four of the game, or all three of the games, because it actually takes on the form of the person that Diablo possesses. So based on the person, their body will look Diablo's body will look different. Beautiful. All right. If you don't get that one cycle, you waste probably like 10 seconds. Oh yeah, I'm done. Death animations are just really overdone in this. I'm not gonna lie. Come on, yeah, I want to skip it. All right, Act 5, let's go. So I would like to know, the world record for this category with Witch Doctor is actually 53 minutes by Viper, and I don't know how he did it, but he's a beast at this game with New Game Plus. My PB is 106 right now. Probably not going to get that. It's going to be closer to probably 110, assuming everything goes normal. We're at 50 now, yeah. Because Act 5 can be pretty unforgiving when you get towards the end of it. Oh my gosh, I thought that was... Oh, jeez, one of the NPCs. I'm not tired at all, I promise. I'm only going on hour 20 of no sleep, I think.
She was not.
Be generous. Do not be a dead end. Alright. Oh my gosh. That's a dead end. Alright, but I know it's down southeast, so that's gonna be pretty easy to get to from here. Alright, so this is where we are going to find Gideon's Row. Just trying to stop this summoning from happening, and save a random NPC here. Alright, Miriam, let's go. We got this. Come on, buddy. There we go.
He's watching you.
That's another area where the game wants you to sit there and listen to Malthael talk for about a minute, but you can just run right by him.
You are not safe out here.
Alright, so this is the second area that I need to get to, and I just gotta find the exit. Probably gonna be southwest. Okay. It's not terrible. So, my first game back, again, I soft locked here as well. I didn't even know you soft lock here, but if I were to actually go too fast while I'm doing this to get to this area, Miriam won't even catch up to me, and it soft locks, they have to quit out and do this all over again. So I'm glad that didn't happen either. I think that's the last soft lock, so that a little bit off my shoulders there.
Berzail has done this to finish.
So this is the first of many unforgiving areas in Act 5 where it's just very long, winding passages that can lead to absolutely nothing. And you can't... I don't like this. It's not very easy to tell if you are going in the right direction or not. Like that. Are you serious? Gut instincts, I tell you. Actually, check it out. I am terrible at this game. Another area you can't go into as a chicken. I'm not really sure why. Okay, God, I thought I saw blocked it. Oh. Guys, there's two phases of this, so you can't one-shot him, sadly, but it still goes pretty quick. This was, I think, probably the hardest boss fight for me, vanilla, when I first played through this. Because you're very under-leveled when you get here. You don't have a lot of strong armor or equipment, and the area just pretty much gets covered in fire, and it's really hard to stay alive. But this is a new game, so we're good. Let's go talk to you. I do not want to do what you think I want to do. There we go.
You're not going anywhere without
Come with me if you wish.
We hid the Black Soulstone in the deepest part of Nephilim ruins.
Alright, cool. So this next area, Garfam and I spent like 2 days probably trying to figure out any way to lower the RNG in this. Not this specifically, but there's an area, a very large area, that you have to find 2 pedestals essentially that tell you where the correct tomb to go is. There are like 8 tombs you can possibly go into, and one of them is correct, and they're all super long, so you can't really just guess it. And this is probably the most RNG section of the Act 5 here. And this is probably why I stopped a while ago, is because having a bad computer with lag and then getting into Act 5 and losing 5 minutes to a run when you're an hour 40 in is just not the most appealing thing. Alright, so that's 1. I need to get 2 more. Hopefully it's nice and gives me 1 here. Fetching, please. Yeah, I just need to run around until I find another. Cool. That was very, very lucky. So for this area, a lot of this game, I'm pretty much looking at the map and I have no idea what's actually happening on screen. So this area has a lot of doors you have to click on, and I'm not really aware of it until I'm walking into it for like 2 seconds. And that's why I also don't like this section. The one way you can kind of counteract that is if you use force move, you can actually click on items while still moving. Come on. So you can open doors while using force move, and it doesn't slow your movement down at all. You just have to pretty much spam whatever you have force move on and your left click. I'm gonna go this way. Play the cards. Please be up here. This has been such a waste. This is a dead end. Oh god. This is fun. Alright. Oh, you win some, you lose some. Gambling is not good, kids. Please don't do it. Look at that. Alright, that wasn't too terrible. I'll take that. Gotta wait here just to get this little text box, and I can TP out. Alright. So we're on to the last stretch here, pretty much on our way, just trying to get to Malthael. A lot of these areas are pretty small RNG areas, or just the layout doesn't change much at all, if at all. So to lose any time from here on out would be kind of rough. So 59, I'm gonna guess an hour 10. Alright. So this is another somewhat, I guess you could call it an auto-scroller. You kind of have to wait through a couple waves of enemies, and then a lot of them pop up here, and door 1 opens. So you have to do this 3 times. and then you're on to the next section. So section 2. And okay, I missed him. Oh, it's on down. Oh, sugar. Just tonight to have a conversation here. Skip that cutscene. Thank you. Oh, that's beautiful. That's super beautiful. Look at that. They're both right at the start. That's actually, I don't even know what to say about that. Sometimes I'll spend like 2-3 minutes just looking for these areas, so having them both right at the start. Where's the...
Strike at your heart.
Alright. There we go. I think this is the quickest battlefields I am ever going to do. And toss material quick. So we have another auto scroller. We have to ram this door a couple times. There are 3 phases essentially. This section now, then there will be a section where 2 hooks show up here, and then a section where there's about 5 hooks that show up, and we have to take the hooks out for the ram to continue. And then we're in the last area before Malthael. Alright, so those are hook 1, and then the next time we ram into here, we have all the hooks show up. We want to try to knock them out quick because we can actually stop a stronger enemy from appearing here. But, that was terrible. Alright, cool. No. Alright. I like how half of a second in my mind is terrible. When I'm so used to getting these things a little bit quicker, you just notice it, I guess. Alright, so wait for this to open. There we go. And it's a sprint. Normally you need to talk tutorial there. The game wants you to, but you can just kind of run through. And for this section, the exit is typically northeast, so I try to route as much to the right side as possible. And then for the second time, or the second section, it always goes to the left. It's not 100% the same map, but it pretty much ends up being the same map. Okay, we're going this way. Jeez.
You are evil and
Oh god. I didn't even realize that was the exit. Oh, it's not ready yet. So we're trying to see, trying to find some portals here. Once we see the portal show up on the map, that's how you know this is going to be the last section. Alright, cool. And this is all statted. This is the same every time, pretty much. There's just no deviation. Essentially, it's all linear. So this has 2 phases. This first phase, which anywhere between a quarter or 3/4 health and half health, there you go. He will stop into his next phase, and the time is actually going to be. I'm going to beat him. Tyrael's going to walk up, and I have to talk to Tyrael. When I click OK on Tyrael, there'll be a text box that says OK. When I click that, that is going to be time. Oh, 104. Oh my God, I just PB'd. Wait, did I? I don't even know if my PB is 104 or 106. That's how bad I am. Alright, what do we got? Amulet. And time. Ooh. I have no idea what I just said for any of that. Alright, let's get out of here. Alright, that's Diablo 3. If you are interested in New Game Plus, New Game, they vary differently. We also do a boss rush. Co-op runs are super fun if you can do if you want to do a co-op New Game Plus or New Game. We have a Diablo Discord channel for all 3 games. You can find it online. Honestly, just search, Google. That's new or something, whatever. But yeah, we're all really friendly. It's been popping in our Discord lately, so we'd love to get some more people. And that's all I really got. Thank you.
All right, guys, let's give it up for Scrubcasual. All right, congrats on PB, man.